Hello guys, welcome to the Phoenix Club. I'm Tom, this is Josh, and welcome to another episode of Topical Teamsheets. This week, we've decided to go for 11 each on the best players to be relegated from the Premiership. These players have to be relegated in a year while they were actually playing for the club. They didn't have to go on and play in the Championship, which is crucial. And we've both done both very different 11s, actually. And we'll kick things off with Josh in goal.
Julio Cesar. There wasn't much competition really, probably between him and Jussi Jääskeläinen. And Champions League winner, I believe. He was at some of the top club in Inter Milan for a number of years in Italy. So easy, yeah. Relegated with QPR in 12-13. So easy choice there, Julio Cesar.
Yeah, I did go for Cesar as well. The other one for me would have been David James with Portsmouth.
Yeah, okay,
I think he's a very underrated keeper. Played in the World Cup, of course. But this is one of the few there's little debate on. So I'm going to go straight to right back. And I've gone for Glenn Johnson, who won a fair bit with Chelsea in, I think, the first season under Mourinho, possibly the second, and then went on to get relegated further down the line, but was a solid, if unremarkable, Premiership left-back, English as well, played in the World Cup, I think 2010. I think he was very good to get relegated. It surprised me when I went through and again saw he did get relegated. But who did you go for, Josh?
So I've gone for Michel Salgado when he got relegated with Blackburn in the 11-12 season. Actually, the most recent time they were in the Premier League. And much like Cesar for a goalkeeper, Salgado found his fame really at one of Europe's top sides in Real Madrid. Won a number of trophies at the Bernabeu. And what I found interesting when I was doing some research about Salgado was that during that 11-12 season, he was told by Steve Keane, the manager, and the Blackburn hierarchy, that he actually wasn't allowed to play any more games because if he hit a certain number of games, I can't remember if it was 19 or so, I can't remember what the number was, that would automatically trigger a one-year contract extension, and the club couldn't afford it. So even though he didn't actually play from about January onwards, he was still part of that squad. So Salgado isn't there for me.
Very good player. I think he maybe wasn't at his best in the Prem, but as I say...
any of these players really. The fact they got relegated.
True that, they're either young or old, I guess. So onto the centre-backs, and I've gone for two Englishmen. The first one being a little bit of a cheat, I went for Gary Cahill, who was in the Bolton team that got relegated in 2012, but did leave for Chelsea in January. But I'm still going to count that as being in a relegated side. Not much can be said apart from that. Pretty easy choice. Won the Champions League with Chelsea, Europa League, Premiership, Carabao Cup. Obviously not the FA... won the FA Cup last season, pardon me.
Didn't he win it in Di Matteo's that season when he left for Chelsea? He won the FA Cup and the Champions League.
Really done. Yeah, he's won everything there is to win at Chelsea, so not tough there. And my second is England's current manager, Gareth Southgate. Brilliant man and bit of an underrated player, given that he didn't play for a top six club. But I think they were two pretty easy choices for me.
Well, yeah, like Tom, I've gone for Gareth Southgate first of all, Crystal Palace defender during the 1993 season. Enjoyed a wonderful Premier League career, didn't he, at places like Villa. Middlesbrough, he was captain and manager there. Was captain for their only trophy triumph with the League Cup in 2004. And joining him is Rio Ferdinand, who it probably would make quite easily could make a team of all-time greatest Premier League centre-backs. And he was relegated with QPR in the twilight of his career in the 14-15 season.
Another Champions League winning centre-back. So
yeah.
You've not got a bad batch there. On to left-back, I've gone for Wayne Bridge. A player I'm a little bit biased towards. Strangely, as a Chelsea fan, I really like him. I think he wasn't obviously Ashley Cole, but he scored the winning goal against the Invincibles in the Champions League quarter-final. I'll always love him for that, stopping them winning the Champions League and producing probably the best moment of the Ranieri at Chelsea era. Who have you gone for, Josh?
So again, another Champions League winner, Dennis Irwin at left back. United legend without question. and he was there for what 9, 10 seasons in the Premier League. I can't say much more about him really. Dennis Irwin.
Fantastic player. On to our centre midfielders. One is a class of 92 legend in Nicky Butt, who was relegated, I think, with Newcastle.
Yes.
And played, fantastic player. Not much to be said again. Would probably have a good chance of making a greatest United side of the Premiership era, if not a greatest side.
You're not sure about that one.
Maybe not.
I think Paul Scholes and Roy Keane might have something to say about that one.
Well, yeah, very, very true there. One of those who might well be on this list. And another one's a new signing for Barcelona, Kevin Prince Boateng, who was relegated with Portsmouth. Yeah. I still can't get over that signing. No. But what can't be denied was he was a fantastic player, particularly for a side like Portsmouth.
Fair enough. Well, I've gone for a bit of a contrast, really. I've gone for two former United players, but neither of whom, obviously, relegated at Old Trafford. So first of all, Roy Keane, relegated in the first season of the Premier League, much like Gareth Southgate, but Roy Keane was with Nottingham Forest, under Brian Clough, of course. And I think many people actually cite getting relegated with Forest was what inspired Roy Keane to be such a great and such a strong battle axe, really, on the pitch, and obviously United's most successful captain, one of the most, if not the most successful captain ever to play in England. Alongside him, Michael Carrick, the first of many players that I'll be featuring from West Ham's ill-fated 02-03 squad. And again, much like what Tom said earlier, these players are either players that got relegated at the beginning of their career or at the end. Carrick is an example of the former, and he went on to be one of United's, I wouldn't say greatest ever players, it's certainly a cult hero, perhaps for last week's retro show. And yeah, just a great player, went on to captain us for a season, now he's on the coaching staff, so Michael Carrick.
Yeah, moved to 2 current top 6 clubs, brilliant player. I've gone for in right midfield, or right wing, I suppose, our very own Xherdan Shaqiri from Liverpool.
Very own.
Our very own, I suppose. Our era's very own. Not our, goodness, he's never going to be a Chelsea player. Our era's very own. Pardon me. I should have made that clearer. I think he's a bit underrated. I think he's wasted some years of his career at Swansea, but he's showing how good he is, really providing a ingredient to Liverpool's title charge, particularly off the bench. And I don't think much can be debated there, really.
Yeah, well, I got another addition for me from the 02-03 squad, Trevor Sinclair. I would argue one of the best players never to win the Premier League, actually, certainly for his position. Yeah, absolutely, and even setting up Paolo Di Canio's wonder strike against Wimbledon in the 1990,000 season. So Sinclair there, great player for English sides. I think he was at West Ham and Man City, and I can't remember who he played for beforehand. It'll come to me. Anyway, so who have you gone for left mid?
So left mid, I've gone for Juninho Paulista. If you watched last week's retro show, it's just a player I really like, just for his impact on Tyneside. But I don't want him to come up every week, but I think on this one, he had to be in there, particularly for the effect of his relegation and how sad it actually made him that they got relegated. But for me, another cult hero and another man who has to be in this 11.
Well, I've gone for Joe Cole. I thought you might actually you might stick him in there. Joe Cole, obviously former Chelsea player, a Premier League winner. Also part of West Ham's 02-03 squad. I think it just goes to show you how good that team was, that there's so many of those players featured here. And again, like with Michael Carrick, I wouldn't necessarily say that the relegation inspired him to achieve, but certainly was a victim of being a young player in a team that got relegated. And the fact that he went on to play for Chelsea and did very well there, actually. Probably one of their most unsung heroes.
Brilliant. I mean, he was a player of the year 2005-06, and he completely deserved it. I agree with you. He's unsung. I don't know why I didn't put him on this list. I partially because I think I have a soft spot of him as a Chelsea man. Maybe that's I'm all the poorer for doing it. But I like my 2 wingers on here, so I'll give him it. But on to the strikers. I've gone for one player who's a Prem legend and another who sometimes I think is a bit forgotten. So my first one's Paolo Di Canio, who is magic.
Where's Craig Bellamy gone?
I was going to put in Craig Bellamy, I must say, but then the thought of it was just too grim, you know. The fact he was in the squad of a Champions League final side under Benitez, he should get an honourable mention. But Di Canio was magical. As far as his views are just horrible, and he can't get a managerial job for it. You can't deny how good he was, and some of his goals were brilliant. Some of his antics, not so much. Oh, I love the Premiership.
I know.
You know, sometimes you just feel like you want that to happen every game, and you get a terrible.
It's where the referee just stumbles backwards.
Do go and watch that guy
Yeah.
on YouTube, otherwise. And my second striker is a man who scored 21 goals in his for a team that still got relegated that year, and it's Andy Johnson, formerly of Crystal Palace and Everton. I think that year, 04-05, when he got relegated, he was a goal machine. And Palace really have no excuses for getting relegated with a striker that can score that many in a season, you know. Their defence must have been absolutely shocking. From memory, it was, by the way. But Ian Dowie, man, you should not have got relegated.
I mean, the names Tony Popovich and Fitz Hall come to mind. I can't remember any other defenders from that squad, apart from those two names. I think Popovich was captain, but yeah, says a lot.
But I mean, it shows how good he must have been to score that many in a year his side got relegated. But over to your strikers, Josh.
Yeah, so I've gone, as has been customary for this episode of Topical Teamsheets, completely differently to Tom. So I've gone for the English combination of Michael Owen and Les Ferdinand. So Michael Owen, first of all, a Premier League winner with Manchester United, not Liverpool. Obviously Ballon d'Or winner in 2001. So he got relegated with Newcastle in 08-09. Obviously had a season at Real Madrid as well. So as I think we've said before, unless you're Jonathan Woodgate, you aren't going to get signed by Real Madrid on a whim. Again, perhaps didn't quite achieve as much as he could have done, as much as he was expected to when he showed promise as a youngster because of injuries mainly. But still a great striker. And secondly, Les Ferdinand, relegated, I don't mean to be mean to him, but brilliantly in 2 consecutive seasons. First of all with West Ham, again in 02-03, and then he joined Leicester 03-04 and got relegated as well. He just couldn't get enough of the second tier, could he? And so, yeah, again, I think he probably another of the Premier League's players that isn't always lauded as one of the best ever. Obviously, there are many that we'd put before him, but he was such a talent in his prime. And I was watching an interview with him the other day that he nearly got signed by Manchester United, went to Newcastle, close to winning the title, had a good few years at Tottenham as well. So, yeah, Owen and Ferdinand.
Both really good players. I mean, you've got 2 Ferdinands in there, which is very...
Yeah. Cousins, no less.
Yeah, of course. I think we've both got nice 11s there. It'd be good to see them play each other. If ever could bring them all back to the best. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. That's all for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Comment your own 11s, please do. And I will respond, as will Josh, to each of them. You might even get a share off the Twitter Phoenix Club, which you guys should all go and follow. Extra content as well as promos about all our videos. Thank you for watching. I'm Tom. This is Josh. See you next week, guys.